Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
I love my life. This itself reflects that a person wishes to live longer. So, this is a positive frame of human minds. If you go forward, I know I can find solution to difficult problems. A person who is positive, optimistic, this is also a reflection of optimism. I find, I am sure that he says that I know that I can find solution to my problems, solution to difficult problems, So, the approach, a person who is having I know, I can, I will. So, these are a reflection of optimistic, hopefulness. These are also reflection of resilience. You do not want to give up. You want to find out the exact source or the solutions. So, that shows the reflection of your outlook or optimism, A perspective, outlook is a perspective for future, a perspective for your future. But here optimism exactly your tendency to approach your future. To hold a future, to hold a positive perspective about your future is optimism. You are hopeful that life will be brighter perspectives. That is all about your optimism. I believe things usually work out for best. So, this is also you are expecting something better to happen out of your work. I have been continually frustrated in my life because of bad breaks. You are regretting a lot. You are accusing yourself. I have been encountered by troubled times. So, this is a negative items. This does not reflect good things about your future. So, it may bring not optimism, it may bring pessimism. So, that is why people often say that these are situational, optimism and pessimism. Optimism and pessimism are situational. Many times what happens, a optimistic person may become pessimism depending upon the outcomes of life. So, when I say outcomes of life, I exactly indicate towards what you are getting out of your work. That means, if good works are not paid properly, a good worker will be frustrated and will give up. So, that is why many times if you are not faced with good consequences of life, then your orientation will grow towards pessimism. This pessimism, what writers talk about, is the result of will enhance the external locus of control. Why? Then you will always try to accuse your luck. Yeah, my luck is not good, that is why I am feeling frustrated. And this is also known as learned pessimism, learned optimism and pessimism, you know, learned optimism versus pessimism. People are not such, people are not actually in reality, they are not optimistic, but by their gradual experience and exposure to outside world, they learn how to be optimistic, they learn how to be hopeful, because they say that patience brings, you know, good results in their life. And suppose you observe that yes, hard work pays you in the long run, that enhances your patience, that optimism. So, you wait, you develop patience within yourself and good results. But there are also people learn to be pessimistic irrespective of when they are repeatedly encountered by negative consequences of life, they gradually move towards pessimism and try to accuse their lucks, and that is where your outlook is going to be down. But this will give you, these are few negative items, like I have been continually frustrated in my life because of bad lucks. If you go forward, you will see I like whom I am. Yes, it is about yourself, you are praising yourself. I see challenges as opportunities for learning, you know, this is the items. I see challenges as opportunities for learning. So, why it happens? People are so optimistic about their life, their futures, they say I should not be feel disturbed when challenges are coming up. So, I should take it as an opportunity and turn it into my insights. Under pressure, I am confident I will figure out a solution. This is also, I said that people, those who are hopeful, those who are resilient under adversity conditions, they are also likely to be more optimistic and their outlook profile will be higher. So, when you take this test and measure your score, so if your score range between 23 to 24, then you are likely to have a better profile, what you call excellent. But if your score is in between 19 to 22, you are likely to be proficient. But if your score varies between 13 to 18, it is below average, you are vulnerable. Your optimism is below average, you are likely to develop a pessimistic style. You need to focus on your life, you need to enhance your hopeful capacities. If a person is between 0 to 12, is really suffering from the setback of optimism. So, the person requires urgent counseling. This is a caution stage. Okay. So, individual counseling is required for the person. Immediately at least meet a psychologist. You see, there is a saying that nothing is impossible, but impossible is impossible. So, one can enhance if he wants, if she wishes to develop. So, that is why we often say where there is a will, there is a way. So, we can develop by some efforts. So, now let's examine another concept, that how resilience works in the context of emotional intelligence that we talk about. This is one of the important ability, or you can say EQ competencies of a person, that needs to be nurtured within every individual, that what we call resilience. The exact meaning of resilience is thriving upon stress, how quickly you are coming out of adversity. In other words, you can also say it is an ability of a person to cope with difficult situations, to cope with the stressful situations. So, if a person is good in his resilience capacity, he is likely to deal with difficult situation of life. For example, this is a small test. This was developed, taken from what we call EQ map scales of Cooper and Sabab. Here, the test says that think about the past month. For each item listed below, please indicate how well the statement describes your behavior or intention. Say for examples, let us begin about I can bounce back after feeling disappointed. So, what exactly this statement is talking about? I can bounce back after falling. We usually observe in children's behavior in their early years of life at home, at school, when the child tries to walk down after 1 year or during 1.5 years, the child start walking gradually and slowly. Many times the child falls. When the child fell down, the parents usually rush at the child to take him up, but they should not do them, because by doing this, we are actually losing the opportunity for the child for their self growth. We do not allow child to come up herself or himself. So, this is the difference between the Western approach and the Eastern approach. In Western context, they always emphasizes on self learning, self development, self growth, but our over concern about our kids creates a state of dependency on each others. We says that it will be harmful for our kid if you do not help her or him, but actually in the process, by doing things, we are not giving any opportunity to the child to grow up. So, that is the main concern. Here, the child will never learn how to come out of difficult situations. I can accomplish what I need to if I put my mind to it. So, this shows the level of your confidence about doing certain activity. It is also a reflection of how sure you are about performing certain activity in your life. So, that is why you are saying that I can accomplish what I need to if I put my mind to it. Obstacles or problems in my life have resulted in unexpected changes for the better. So, this is also a good perspective, a positive perspective about human life. If any persons who thinks like this, who takes like this, who perceive like this, they are likely to score or likely to display a high level of resilience. I find it easy to wait patiently when need to. It shows that you have lot of patience, you are waiting for good results. When it is required, you are there to wait. So, a person should not be too much impatient about results also, because we have seen that any person in this world who is impatient about achieving results are likely to commit more mistakes than people who are patient. There is always more than one right answer. This is a thing that creates multiple perspective. That is why I often advise my students, when you look for multiple alternatives of life or life goals, you are likely to excel more than people those who are having one goal in their life, because this brings persistent, this brings perseverance, this brings resilience in your life, because you do not easily want to give up things. So, that is why people always set multiple goals. This is one of the advantages of resilient peoples, that even if they fail in one, they are likely to succeed in others. I know how to satisfy all parts of my life. So, this is also another perspective. you want to give appropriate scope to different domains of your life. I am not one to procrastinate. I am not one to procrastinate. So, this shows that you do not, procrastination means delay of gratifications, So, if a person saying that I am not here to procrastinate, so that means you are not emphasizing delay of gratification, right. So, many times we have seen that delay of gratification, actually these items, people who procrastinate about others are patient, are resilient, but a person who score high on this is likely to display less resilient. Actually, this should be I am not one to procrastinate. So, if procrastinate is delay of gratification, that means this person requires instant gratifications. So, it should be negatively scored. I am afraid to try something again when I have failed at it before. This is shows, I am afraid to try something, it is given when I have failed at it before. That means, if you are afraid of doing a thing again, that means you are not keeping any patience. That means, a negative result is bringing frustration within yourself. So, this is also a sign of low level of persistence or resilience. I decide certain problems that are not worth worrying about. This also says that I decide certain problems are not worth worrying about. So, sometimes prioritization is also an indication of your resilience. Something which is not important, you should not be worried about it. So, you remain calm and composed even in the state of complex situations. I can see the humorous side of situation. This is important. Take life easy. That is why people often say, if you have committed a mistake, it is fine. Everybody commits. Instead of feeling guilty so much, let us move on. That is the principles of resilience. You have to thrive upon stress. You committed mistakes, yes. If you accept it is your mistake, you can move on. If you persist on that mistake and feel guilty, no, you cannot move on. So, that will reduce your life energy and bring negative consequences in life. So, this is how we perceive resilience and nurture it within ourselves. Another domain is called I often put things aside for a while to get a perspective on them. This is also positive. I often put things aside for a while to get a perspective on them. Do not instantly reject any perspective. That is the approach of resilient person. Thrive on it, think about it. That is why we often advise, before reacting towards any situation, object and events, think thrice. You may be giving a better alternative to it. When I encounter a problem, I focus on what I can do to solve it. So, that is why when you encounter a problem, you focus, take a pause, think over it, ponder over it, give insight in it, analyze it, explore possibilities, then you will end up with a right kind of solution. This is in fact, it is actually hinting at the divergent thinking of human intellect. So, when you think from various perspectives, you can analyze the strength and weakness of each possibilities. So, that is why people, those who are resilient, they explore from multiple sides, multiple angles to reach at a right kind of solution or most viable solution, one can say. So, this test is going to give you also again 4 kind of answers, like if you are scoring on this test between 39 to 34, you are actually displaying full resilience. This is what we call optimum level. If your scores varies between 33 to 28, then you are an average resilient person. There is a lot of chances, lot of scope is there to develop your resilience potential capacities. So, this is called proficient, or what we call average person, average. But if your score varies between 27 to 21, you are a vulnerable person. In the sense, you can be victimized, you can be victim of situation, you can be a failure in life, it may bring failure if you do not persist, you cannot achieve your goals, there is possibility, achievement of less chance of achievement of life goals or life success. So, these would be the possible outcomes of vulnerability. But if your score that varies between 20 to 0, you are at a dangerous state of your resilience. You will collapse, simply you will collapse on stressful conditions. This leads towards a red light signal, just like in front of traffic, if there is a red light signal, there is a danger, an accident. So, similarly, it is a red light signals, this is called caution. So, it passes message for immediate action, on developing resilience, we have been conceptualizing resilience framework. This can be individual resilience, or what we call otherwise personal resilience. So, all these what we discussed, actually these are called personal resilience. There are called interpersonal resilience also, IP, and there are called organizational resilience. Recently, in fact, we have published a paper in building organizational resilience. This organizational resilience, it is. So, this was recently published in Routledge Handbook of Psychological Resilience. So, this is published by Routledge Taylor and Francis in the year 2016. The editor of the book is Updesh Kumar, a very famous Indian psychologist, defense psychologist, at DIPR Delhi. In last 4-5 years, Professor Kumar has produced wonderful 5 handbooks of psychological research in the area of suicide prevention by says Woolly Handbook of Personality, Handbook of Personality. This is very essential, quite essential for any psychologist. I recommend for all the readers who are interested in the concept of resilience must read this book, Woolly Handbook of Personality by Ubdesh Kumar. More than 30 international writers have contributed chapters both in this Routledge Handbook of Psychological Resilience as well as the Woolly Handbook of Personality, widely appreciated by across the globe among intellectuals. So, in this Routledge Handbook of Psychological Resilience, I have published a chapter on building organizational resilience or creating a resilient organization. How, like the way one's support system builds up one's psychological resilience. Say for examples like in personal resilience, so what are the antecedents of personal attributes of personal resilience? A person should be hopeful, is not it? Environmental support, environmental support, educational support, they should have social support, strong social support, and should be high level of high internal locus of control, self belief, self confidence, and resourcefulness. So, these are certain attributes. If these attributes are present within an individual, he is likely to develop his personal resilience and also optimism. Well, this is in nutshell about EI in the context of resilience. When we come back, we will be discussing more about other competencies, EI competencies and other attributes of emotional intelligence. Thank you very much.